Hello, this is Mark Mitchell, and I will be with you this semester for sociology. And I'd like to thank you for being a part of the class. And anything I can do to help you during class, just let me know. I want this to be an enjoyable semester for you. The purpose of the video today is just to give you a brief idea of where to find things in the course. So I know you may be taking a number of courses, and they may all have a Blackboard component. Everybody may have things structured a little differently, but I just wanted to get you used to where I have things in the course. And then once you get used to the pattern, it's really no problem at all. So I have already logged into Blackboard, and I have already logged into one of my classes this semester. And this one is an online section, and I chose this one for a few reasons. But if you're in a traditional class where you come to class every day, then there's no discussion board for you. So I'll just start here at the top. But this first item on the left, getting started, is where you want to start the class. And it's just some general information about what to expect. And so you're already here, but I've got several links that will help you. There's a link here to the syllabus. Make sure you read that very carefully. I've also asked you to send me your acknowledgement page, and that's in the syllabus, and there's some links too. But I'll show you where that is. But the syllabus gives you a good idea of the assignments that we're going to have and the dates. The dates are also in Blackboard, but especially if you're in an online class, you need to be really familiar with the due dates for the assignments because once that due date passes, then you cannot turn them in. We are an e-text class, and so we don't have a physical textbook, but once you register for the course, you have paid for a copy electronically, so we'll be using that in our assignments. Why should you take a sociology course? I've mentioned a few things there, but really about human behavior and the diversity of it. So there's lots of interesting topics to think about in sociology. It doesn't mean we all have to agree, but at least we'll look at some of those. I've also given you some idea of where you're really going to be in the course, and so for us, that's the assignments folder. So when you log into Blackboard, one of the first tabs you want to click on when you're trying to complete your assignments is that assignment folder. And I'll give you some examples in just a few moments. To be successful in the course, I have listed there, but you want to basically make sure you read your textbook, complete your assignments, make sure you complete them on time. Basic computer skills are of great value for this course, as well as knowing how to study. So those are some key things to be successful. And then if you have questions, make sure you get in contact with me, either email or call me, or if you're on campus, you can come by and see me in person. But it's very important that you feel comfortable in navigating the course. Now, after you do this, what I would like you to do is there's a few tasks. So I've mentioned one was the student acknowledgement form. That's in the syllabus, and then you can email it to me at my email address. I would like you to take the enrollment and verification quiz. That is very important to do that. That's what actually enrolls you in the class officially. So make sure you complete that as soon as you can, but no later than the date mentioned here. And then there's a couple basic assignments for Connect. That's what we'll be using, the software from the publisher of the textbook, McGraw-Hill. We'll be using that quite a bit to submit some assignments, but here's a couple basic ones that I would like you to complete. And then go under that assignments tab and look for chapter 1. So those are a few things. You don't have to do them all at once. Definitely the acknowledgement form and the verification quiz. There's another link to it. You definitely want to do those as soon as you can. Okay, the next tab is the announcements tab, and that's where the course usually defaults. So when you log in, this will be the first page you come to. So what I will do is list at least a weekly announcement about things. Sometimes it'll be reminders. It may be a news story. It could be a lot of things, but just about the class that I want to share to make sure everybody knows. They also send you emails through Blackboard, so that's also another way that I'll get up with you. If you don't know me, my name is Mark Mitchell, and I have listed my fall schedule, fall 2019 schedule, and so that's where I'll be on campus. I will make a change here, but my office hours this semester are Tuesday and Thursday from 8 to 9:30, and then 12:15 to 1:15. So I've got to change that right here, but it's down below here. I just haven't changed it there. My email is lmmitchell@johnstoncc.edu. So when you email me, please put your section number of the course that you're taking. So if it's section 1 or 2 or 3, or if it's online, put that. That will help me get back to you faster if I know which section that you're in. Usually during the week, I'm very prompt at returning emails. I check it several times a day. If you email me on the weekends, then it may take 24 to 48 hours to get a response. So I've also got a little information about myself, and then a fairly recent picture there. If you're ever on campus, please stop by. I'd like to be able to help you as much as I can, and ever how I can do that. So I've been with the college for, as I mentioned here, nearly 25 years, so a long time. And I've enjoyed, of course, helping students as much as I can. The Course Resources tab is where your syllabus lives, so you definitely want to open that up and read it. I would recommend strongly is for your quizzes and exams and other assignments, go ahead and write those dates down and put it near your computer. You do not want to miss any of those, and I do not have a policy where if you miss it, that you can make it up. So that's very important for your grade. Under the course resources is the acknowledgement form that I wanted you to fill out. It'll basically say that you have read the syllabus, that you understand it, that you agree with it, that you will abide by it. And then if there's anything that you think I should know about you, you're welcome to put that in there. I will keep that confidential, but then email it to me at my Johnston CC email. The rest is really some generic things. I think if you've taken classes at JCC before, you know a lot about some of this different information, but this is here for you too. We're an online class, so that really kind of negates any inclement weather policy, but if you have some other classes there, I've listed the Jaguar alerts, and you can use this link and sign up, and they will send you alerts and information that's related to the college about closings or delays or things of that nature if they come up during this semester. So that'd be something useful to check out. I mentioned earlier the assignments tab, but here is where you will spend, I believe, the bulk of your time. So I just briefly want to give you an idea. There's more detail in the syllabus, but we have, for example, one paper in the course, and when you click on this tab, it gives you the rubric. This is what I'm expecting in your paper, definitely 1 through 5. I also have a video that goes into a little more detail. 6 is optional. And here are just some examples of what your paper should look like. They're on different videos, but these were good papers because they followed the rubric and students did a good job. So you don't have to really look at the theoretical and research paper, but just these first 3 right here. But we have one paper for the semester, which is due right before our fall break, and that's going to give me, I did it that way so I can grade papers over fall break. We have exams and quizzes, and so I'll also have a video here where you can get a little bit of an idea of what to expect. Those are our 2 most important assignments. They count the most in the course, but you can look at that video and get a good idea before we take a quiz or a exam. They're both based on 4 chapters, so once we finish 4 chapters, we'll have a quiz and then an exam, and that's the pattern we follow throughout the semester. Now, I have decided to open the quizzes and exams for a specific amount of time. So, for example, here you can see about 4 or 5 days. The quiz is open, so you can take it any time within that opening and ending date, but not before and not after. There will be a password. The password will be listed under the announcements page in Blackboard. The same thing will be true of the exams. Now, the only difference between these two assignments is the exams are longer and they count more. But both of these are based off the textbook, the reading. So make sure that you are, of course, reading your material. Then if there's any questions that you have, I'll be glad to help you with that. And we also have some supplemental resources for each chapter that I think will be helpful as well. Now, after you have sent me your student acknowledgement form and you've taken your verification quiz, I mentioned clicking on Chapter 1. So it tells you again the due date. These assignments are due, but you would, for example, click on Chapter 1. And what I have done is given you an introduction. What are we looking at in this chapter? And then, for example, the tasks that we have. Now, some of these are required and some of these are recommended. So I have put that information out there. I think I have listed the recommended assignments because I think that will help you maximize your grade. There certainly are many ways to study, but I think this will help quite a bit. Now, the assignments that are required, for example, would be the Learn Smart for each chapter, the review for each chapter, the core concept videos. If you are in an online class, then you will have a discussion board. If you're in a traditional class, that will not apply to you. And then some of these others are simply just in case you need some practice or you think there's a concept that you need a little more exposure to, and you can see that they're listed either recommended or optional. The learning objectives, again, what are we going to learn? And this is there's nothing written required for this, but it's a good way to check to see if you're picking up main points. So a lot of these statements could be turned into multiple choice questions, and if you can answer them, then that lets you know that you're doing well. I've put an outline of the chapter and a short summary. If you like PowerPoint slides, they're here. If you need some notes, they're there as well. Before you print it, you may want to look at it. Some of those are a little lengthy. I also have made a video for the chapter and just discussed some of the things that I found interesting in there and maybe a little explanation. I've also tried to include some additional resources. That's a growing section of the web page, so tried to put some more resources there. Now, this is a link to your 3 assignments. So once you click on Chapter 1, these are all assignments that are due. You can see the due date. I recommend doing them on a weekly basis, but I have put them in as the end of the semester, so it will avoid sending you a lot of emails. A lot of students don't like that, and so I've taken those out. Your discussion boards will pop up on Monday mornings, early Monday mornings, and they'll disappear at Sunday by 9. So you have to post within that Monday to Sunday time frame. There's an article that I want you to read. Now, later in the semester, we'll have videos instead of articles. And then I want to share with you how you get your grade as well. And there may be some times the articles, you may need a little bit of help. And so there's a video that I have, and it details the articles and gives you a little idea of how to get started. Of what's going on. So with your discussion board, I want it to be a combination of tell me things in the article that you liked or disliked. So looking for that you've read the entire article, and then give me your opinion. So what does all this information mean to you? So this is the pattern that we'll set up. It's a repeatable pattern throughout the chapters that we go through the book. We'll go through 16 chapters by the end of the semester. So that's, I think, good number of chapters to have. But the earlier we mentioned the paper. Here you get to choose between 2 videos. Here's a short video that tells you about the paper requirements. Let me mention one thing about the 2 videos. One of them is about people who are addicted to video games, and then the other one is about people with psychological illnesses. So they're both good. One's a little bit older than the other. But the Back from Madness is one that has some surgical procedures of how they deal with psychological illnesses. So if you're a little squeamish, you don't like blood, then just beware. There are some brief scenes in there. They show you how those things are actually performed, or they were in the past. Now, to submit your paper, you will do that online. And so this is the only time during the course where you will use the writing assignments folder. Okay, so the beginning of the semester, this folder will be open. If you want to submit it early, you can. But there it is, and then there will be another link where you can submit your video here. It'll allow you to do that. Okay, so now the rest of the assignments under the tab are follow this general format. I did that I wanted it to be familiar and comfortable, but that will take us up to the end of the course. The My Grades section, you definitely want to keep an eye on all your assignments, and later in the semester I'll talk to you about that a little bit more, about double checking and making sure everything is there so that we don't have any grade issue problems. Your discussion board, just introduce yourself here, and then this is another place where I have the rubric. It shows you the grading scale, the areas I look for, and you will be able to see on each discussion board you submit how you did on each of these 5 areas. Okay, but the forums, again, they're dated. It's one of those assignments that has a firm due date, so make sure you turn those in on time. I don't accept anything late unless Blackboard is at fault. The tools area, I'm sure that you are very familiar with, but for us to access your e-text, that is one of the ways you can do it, but there's lots of things here, and you can use them ever how much or how little that you actually do that. The My eText, this class allows you to opt out of the eText, and so that's what this information is right here. That is a very, in my opinion, a bad idea, because then you will have to find another way to submit your assignments and to take them. But when you register for the class, they charge you a fee for the eText, and what this is really saying is that you can get that money back. So you have to do it within the first 3 days of the class. So if your class starts August the 15th, then you have 3 days, including the 15th, to say, hey, I want my money back, and then there's this form. Before you do that, please contact me. And again, I can't stress enough that I think that is a bad idea, and then it's just going to create more hassle for the student. I really don't have many who've ever done that, but the ones who have opted for that, it did not work out well for them. Now, we don't need a password or login. Once you go into Blackboard, you will be really just a matter of clicking to get to the eText, and I will show you that before I end this video. So some of these others, they may be a little bit helpful, but you don't need any code or anything like that. It operates very smoothly now compared to maybe what it has in the past. If you ever have any problems, you can contact the tech support for McGraw-Hill, and so I've listed here the address, but I've used it and used the web chat. And so if it's really not working right, you would need to contact them. And again, keep me in the loop, and anything I can do to help, I will. But I have really limited access to it. If I could fix your problems, I'll certainly help. But if it's something out of my area, then we'll have to do it that way. I've done that before, and they're pretty helpful with doing that. Again, you can use this other tab, probably not a lot, but for the Barnes & Noble bookstore, if you want to do that, you can. You may not need to, and if that's the case, that's all right as well. Okay, just a second, I'll go right back to our class. Okay, Blackboard help, if you need some for that, here's a tab, but we also have Jolt on campus, and they're good with things like that too. So there's a variety of resources to help you. Your email account, make sure you check your email maybe once or twice a week for our class, and then the announcements page. And then that enrollment quiz, and then later on you may be asked to fill out a survey about some courses you've taken at the college. That would be helpful as well. Now, one of the ways that I like accessing the eText is log in, go to Tools, click on McGraw-Hill Higher Education, go to My Connect section, and then this actually puts us in the Connect software, McGraw-Hill. That's the publisher we're using. And then I use the bottom one. You may want to use the top one, but the top one is where it'll give you some feedback and tell you if you're getting the main ideas or not. But for example, I'll just click on the ebook, and then you're right there in the text, and you can use a variety of options there, and forward or backward. You can print, you can search, you can make the font bigger. You can turn the volume on or off if it speaks to you. There's just limitless kind of things that you can do. So you can either do it a page or a term. Any of that, very, very helpful when you're trying to find something in the textbook. So we've been using that for a while now, and I like it quite a bit. I hope this video has been helpful, and I thank you again for being in the course, and I want you to have a good time and a successful time. So please let me know of any concerns or questions that you have, and I look forward to working with you during the semester. Have a good day.